Good evening, and I'm your host, Marvin Allen, and welcome to True Dougman Encounters. Tonight I have an encounter for you. I was supposed to have a guest on tonight, but I was waiting for her to call me back. I don't know if something came up, but she left a message on my answering service and said that she apologized and that she'll do it tomorrow. So if she do it tomorrow, then I will surely upload it. So without further ado, let's get into this encounter. Well, this encounter, it happened in South Carolina. Now, as y'all remember, I told y'all that I went down to spend some time with my grandson and my son. And I have a niece that stay down there. So I got down there. I went to go see my niece. And my niece said that I got to tell you something. And I said, what? She said that me and my friend seen one of those things. I said, stop playing. She said, man, I swear to God, we seen one of those things. So, I got to talk to her friend. And, he told me everything that happened. He said one day he was leaving South Carolina to go pick her up in North. So he get there, he pick her up, and he asked her if she wanted to drive back because they was going down South Carolina to go get something to eat. So they driving. And when they in South Carolina, I think they said they was on Highway 52. So they driving and they talking. So after about 20 minutes, he tells my niece to slow down, stop the car. So my niece did. He said, look, when they looked to the right, he said he could see something jump down out of a tree. And when they looking at this thing, he said that it looks like a bear. And my niece said, I don't think that's no bear because that thing got muscles. And look at the long arms that it got. So she said after a few, she said this thing walked out the tree line and stood at the edge of the road on 2 feet bipedal. So it's standing there. They said this thing head was so big, it was bigger. It was like the size of a bull mastiff. Said it had the long arms, it had the hands, the claws, it had the bent back legs and everything. She said this thing was like a dark brownish color. So while they sitting there and they watching this thing, her friend said, back up real slow. So that's what my niece started to do. When my niece started to do that, that's when that creature started walking forward towards them. And she was backing up more. She said then all of a sudden, she said that creature got down there near that car in a split second. And they said it stood there on the right-hand side, right there by the front tire. So they scared. They don't know what to do. They just watching this creature. They said then this creature walks over and it looks down in the window and shows its teeth. They said that they were so scared that they didn't even look at this thing. They said after a few seconds, this creature walked around to the front. And when it went over to the driver's side, and it looked in the window at my niece. My niece wanted to scream, but she said she was scared. This thing looked at her, and she said it's like it gave her a grin. Like, yeah, I know you scared of me. So then they say this creature walked back up, and it stood in front of the car, just looking at him. And they said them eyes, oh, and they say the color of these eyes, they said it was like a bluish color on these eyes that this creature had. Now, they watching this creature, but they don't want to move. They scared. They don't know what to do. Now, mind you, her friend is licensed to carry, and he did have a gun in the glove compartment. But he thought twice about trying to shoot this thing because he didn't know what it was. All he know what it was and what he said, that this thing had the head of a dog and the body of like a human. Said this thing was cut up. That's why he thought it was a bat first, until that thing came up out of that tree line and it stood up. He said, now why this creature is standing there and it's watching them, my niece, she holds her head up and she looks at this thing. And when she do that, she said this thing started to growl, like a low growl. And she said she could feel that. She said she could feel the vibration of this thing making that noise. So after a few more seconds, the creature walked to the left, on the left side, over there where the tree line was at. It turned around and it looked at them again. Now it's watching them because it want to see what they gonna do. So my niece's friend said, start going backwards. She did it again. They going backwards. The creature watching them, still going backwards. After they get about maybe 40 feet, they say this creature just took off running. Ran down there again by their car. But this time it stood on the driver's side over there by the tire, like it's taunting them. And then they scared. They scared to get on their phone. They scared to call somebody because they said that when they looked in this creature's eyes, they said it looked like it was intelligent, like it knew what it was doing. So after a few more seconds, that creature took one of his hands and put on the front part of the hood of the car. And it left it there. Then it started taking his claws and, like, brap, 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 knocking on the hood of the car. Now they watching this thing because they don't know what's up with this thing. But all they know is that they scared because they never seen nothing like this in their life. So after this thing started knocking on the hood of that car, it stopped. And when it stopped, this creature made some kind of noise. Don't know what kind of noise, or distress, or call, or something. They said, but this creature made some kind of noise. They said, and when that creature made that noise, both of them, and this came from both of them said that they could hear something running through the tree line, like it's just knocking stuff over, trees and all that, breaking stuff. So on the left side, they see another creature come up out of that tree line, bipedal on 2 feet. So that creature walks over to the car, and it stand right there by the driver's side door. This time, this creature take his hands and tries to get in, but the doors was locked. So it walks down. It tried the back door. That was locked. So it walked around to the trunk and it started messing with the trunk. They don't know why these things was doing this, but it started messing with the trunk. Then it walked all the way around and it stood up there by the tire, not too far from this other creature. So my niece's friend said, we got to do something. We can't sit here. we can't sit here. Because if we do, we might wind up dead. So these creatures is still watching them, like it's taunting them, like he want them to be scared, which they was scared. So after a few more minutes, the first creature turned. When it turned, took a few steps, and it dropped down to all fours. And it ran to the right, over there towards the tree line. Turned around and it looked. Now mind you, that second creature's still there. It didn't leave just yet. So that second creature again walks back over to where my niece was. And it tried that lock again. This time this creature did something. She said this creature took his claws or his fingers, whatever, and tried to put them up where the window at and pull that window down. Said this creature tried to do that, but it couldn't get it down. So it pulled his hands and his claws back out. And after it did that, it walked around, back to the front. And when it walked back around to the front, it let out this loud growl. When it let out this loud growl, it turned around. And when it turned around, it dropped down to all fours and it ran over there to where that other creature was. Now, mind you, they just sat there and they watched both of these creatures down on all fours. And they just looking at them. What seemed like a very long time, but it was only really minutes and seconds. These creatures turn around. These creatures turn around and they walk back in the tree line. That's where my niece put that car in reverse. She turned around and went back home. He said, what you doing? You don't want to go eat? She said, no, I want to go home because I don't know what them things is. She said, I think that's that same thing that my uncle seen last year. So that was their sight, and I just wanted to give y'all that. It wasn't a real big or real long sighting, but I just wanted to give y'all that and upload that. So hopefully, if I can get in contact with this guest, then I'm going to upload that tonight. If not, though, I know definitely I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it early tomorrow. So be looking for that. So I just want to say thank y'all for subscribing and listening to my stories. And enjoy the rest of your night.